Here with your latest forecast is Storm Team 10 meteorologist Jason Dorse. There really is a storm today, and it's supposed to get even worse.
Yeah, that's right, Barbara. We're expecting the height of this storm basically to be over the next 12 hours as that rainfall intensity is going to start to ramp up along with the wind too. And that's going to create some issues up and down the coastline here. As we can see, one of the spots as we look through our People's Credit Union Skycam network live from Beavertail Lighthouse in Jamestown. A little bit deceiving because this camera sits about 75 feet above the ground on the radio tower there. But the waves starting to crash in. Offshore right now, we're tracking those waves sitting at about 8 feet. So pretty impressive swells already starting to build. Those will increase, and our real big concern at the coastline, I'll touch upon this a little bit later on, is going to be at high tide, where we're anticipating the potential for some of our east-facing beaches to have some minor coastal flooding. But otherwise, 48 degrees right now, and that northeast wind sustained at 14 miles an hour. At the moment, we're in a little bit of a lull in the action. We had that steadier burst of rain move through around 10, 11 o'clock. Right now, just some widespread steady rain, but off just to our south coast, we can see this band that's starting to pivot into the area. That will be the start of that moderate to heavy rain that we'll be tracking for a couple of hours. And that's all associated with that new low pressure that is forming right now to our south. We can see all the lightning associated with that, and that is just really showing how robust that will be. Take a look at some of the rainfall accumulations that we have already seen just through this morning. We're over an inch at Quonset, Charlestown, and Westerly. Coventry not too far behind, and then about 0.62 inches at TF Green. In Massachusetts, just a little bit less because it's been raining in Rhode Island a little bit longer, but Martha's Vineyard right there, 3/4 of an inch, almost Westport, Rehoboth, North Dayton, above a ½ inch along there with Somerset. Now, as we go forward through today, what we're still anticipating and where that axis of heaviest precipitation is really going to set up, we're anticipating it kind of just right along the west banks there of Narragansett Bay, all the way out through the Cape of the Islands. That's where some of the heaviest downpours will set up during the evening commute, and we're predicting at least another 1.5 to 3 inches of rainfall still to come, and there could be some pockets where we have those downpours persist a little bit longer that could be approaching that 4-inch threshold here. So here's that band that the models have pivoting up and into the region. We can see that will really open us up to that torrential rain that will be present. It's going to kind of pivot somewhere around that Coventry area, and that means that band will continue to thrust more water and more rainfall into the region, basically turn on a fire hose through the evening commute, and that will lead to that threat for some localized flooding, ponding on the roadways, and just some difficult travel all around. Now, the worst of the downpour should start to taper off by about 10 p.m., but notice we're still tracking some rain in the area through tomorrow morning before things start to taper off. We also have that coastal flood advisory in effect for this afternoon's high tide. Again, mostly for the south coast and east facing beaches. But if we want to take a little bit of a closer look at where we're kind of concerned in Rhode Island, it's going to be basically Narragansett Town Beach points south, along with parts of Jamestown and Newport. And then as we start to get a little bit closer to Westerly, and then parts of the Elizabeth Islands, and then the east facing shoreline of Massachusetts are going to be where we have that higher threat for coastal flooding compared to some of those beaches that face off to the west there. So weather alert again today. Things wrap up by tomorrow morning. Still not an ideal forecast for our Friday, but we should be kicking off Memorial Day. Saturday, lots of clouds in place, but maybe a stray shower in the evening time frame, but mainly dry. Same thing with Sunday, and then Monday again continues to look fairly nice. Sunny to partly cloudy skies. Temperatures right around 70 degrees.